Hey, dreamers. Welcome back to another episode of the Dear Dreamer Podcast. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad that I'm here. I am glad that we are here together. And I'm glad that we get to go on another journey together today, right? So today we're going to chat about one of the keys to unlocking your dreams, right? There are a couple of keys, but today I'm focused on one thing: maintaining a positive mindset. Sounds so simple, right? But it is something that we constantly get to work at so that we can continue to be the people who build the dream, right? So before we get started, there's something we started last week and I want to continue that. What's in your cup? Today, I'm all water again, water and lemon. But earlier today, I want to talk about a drink that I had that I loved. I had a pumpkin chai tea latte, and I've been drinking those a couple of days out of the week this week. So, pumpkin chai tea latte, and I had it with oat milk because I don't really do dairy. That's not my thing. But this thing has been amazing. I've been making it in the morning, and I love it. Maybe I'll drop a recipe for you below. Check. There may be something down there for you. There may not be, but it's been so good. It's been so good. It's been such a great way to start the morning. It makes me feel like fall, and fall is kind of one of my favorite seasons. I like the trees turning colors. I like the transition of the weather. I like football, all the things. So I love the fall. So pumpkin chai tea latte is giving me all of the fall feels. It's giving me all of the fall feels. And so I'm riding with that this season. There'll probably be a shift within the season. Next week, I'm sure I'll have something else to share with you that I'm drinking, that I'm loving. But right now, that's the thing. So here is another thing I want to try with you and see how this lands. I love music. Music kind of sets the tone from the day, kind of sets the tone for just like how I'm feeling sometimes. And I've always been really into music. I've really been a music lover my entire life. And I want to know what you're listening to. I want to know what you've been listening to this week. This week, I've been listening to an assortment of music, but there is a song that dropped called Can't Take My Worship by Maverick and Travis Greene. I love it. It has been on repeat for me since I heard it, and I just can't stop listening to it. I am in love with this. That's constantly going on in my head right now. That's literally what I'm hearing as I'm talking to you. So that's what I'm playing. What are you playing? What are you listening to? Let me know in the chat. What are you drinking? What are you listening to? What's been going on in your ears? And if it's not music, then what's in podcasts are you listening to? What kind of books are you reading? I want to know the things. I want to know the things. I want us to be able to build a community together where we can share things that are helping us to be the dreamer that builds the dream. Okay? This is what I want to create. So help me to create that community by sharing with me. Okay? All right. So here is the thing. If you're a dreamer like me, right, then you have big aspirations. You envision a brighter future for not just yourself, but for your family, for the community, for the people that you're called to serve. And that is good news, right? And it's also something that you're not alone in, right? You're in good company because dreaming is in our DNA, right? We have the capacity to dream. We're able to imagine something different. We're able to be creative. Our dreams fuel our motivation and they give us purpose. But on this path, there are always going to be some roadblocks. There are always going to be some setbacks. And as we talked about last week, there's going to be doubt, right? There are going to be times where we doubt the things that God has given us. There are going to be times that we doubt the dream. There are going to be times that we doubt that we are the people who are able to carry out the dream, but that doesn't mean that you aren't able, right? It doesn't mean that you don't have capacity. It doesn't mean that God didn't call you to build the dream, right? And so we get to practice things. We get to put things in the works. that help us to move past the doubt, move past the fear, move past the roadblock, and move past the setbacks to do the things that God is calling us to do, right? If He's calling you to do something, it means that you get the opportunity to be used by Him in a way that is going to transform something in someone in the world, right? You get to do something that's going to help the world in some way. You get to be the person who God is using to do the things, right? And that is a gift. That is a gift and a blessing. So we get to learn some things like how to maintain a positive mindset. Does that mean that we're going to be positive every single day? We're going to always feel super optimistic about the things? No, let's be real. There are days. There are days that you don't feel like it. There are days that we just aren't really able to shake the funk. There are days that we are not happy about all the things. There are days that we're not happy about the journey. There are days that we are going through the things and doing the things and we're upset because it's not looking anything like we thought it should look or thought it would look, right? Well, I think we talked about this last week, but one of the things that we get to struggle with as dreamers is that we can see the big picture. We can see what all these things look like when they come together. We can see what the end looks like. We can maybe even sometimes see the middle in what that looks like. But it is hard for us to move past what we see in the right now, right? And it keeps a lot of us stuck and stagnant and not moving forward to doing the things because we don't know how to push through this period, the starting period. We don't know how to get started, or we are caught up in the perfectionism of trying to make it look like the end when you're at the beginning, right? And so those things can cause doubt for us. Those things can cause us to set ourselves back because we get stuck there. So we get to work on the tools. We get to use the tools that help us to be able to move past. And so being able to build and maintain a positive mindset is one of those things that helps us. It's where the power of positivity becomes one of our superpowers, right? There's so many superpowers that we can have, right? There's so many different superpowers that God has given us, right? I don't know about you guys, but I am a huge fan of like Marvel and DC. I like the comics. Long story short, when I was in college, I studied comics, like in a class. It was the nerd in me. The nerd in me wanted to know more about comics and like why, like when they were founded, why there are only two major groups. Like I wanted to know about the superheroes and where they came from and like what was the idea behind them and when they came about and like origin stories, because I love a good origin story. So I wanted to know the things. And so I went to a class so I could learn the things. Little known Candace history, right? So, but, positivity, back to the things. Focus. Positivity becomes one of our superpowers, right? It's not just something that we can use to just make us feel good. It's not just a quick fix. We're gonna just throw ourselves into positivity. No, it's something that we get to work at. But as we work at it, it becomes a game changer on our journey to success. It becomes a game changer, right? So let's start with the first key to unlocking that positivity, right? So the first key is surrounding yourself with positive influences. Surrounding yourself with positive influences. Jim Rohn once said, "You are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most with." And he was right. We've been talking about this in some way, shape, or form since this podcast began, right? The company you keep has a profound influence on your life. I feel like we can't say that enough, right? The people that you surround yourself with can help you to move forward, or they can help you to move backwards, right? Either way, you're not going to stay the same, right? We're always in life either moving forward or we're moving backwards, but we're never staying the same. I know it can feel like we're staying the same, but in reality, you're doing one or the other. And so our journey as people who build the dream, as dream builders, is for us to move forward, right? That's the reason why we're here right now having this conversation, is so that we can continue to move the ball forward and we can continue to do the things that help us to be the people who can build the dream, right? So the company you keep matters. If you surround yourself with happy and supportive people who are believing in you, believing in your abilities, helping you to maintain a positive mindset, things become easier for you to move through, right? If I'm having a bad day and I'm not really feeling the things, I'm not really like trying to talk the talk, right? I'm not really trying to be the builder, the dreamer who builds the dream. I'm just not feeling it, right? But I have a tribe of people who are around me who can speak life into me and can tell me, now listen, we're not going to stay there today. You got like 5 minutes to handle whatever you need to handle. You got 30 minutes. Give yourself an hour. You can talk to God about it. You can talk to me about it. You can get it off your chest, whatever it is that you need to do. But after you get it off your chest, after you lament for a second, you got to jump into the game, right? You gotta kind of get back in. And so I need people like that in my circle. I need people who are going to let me have my moment. Like, and sometimes that can be a 24-hour thing, right? Here's one of my rules. One of my rules is I will only let myself live in a moment for 24 hours. Like a moment of negativity, a moment of, I guess, like whining and complaining. If I'm having a moment, I know I need to allow myself to have a moment, right? Sometimes that moment can be shorter. Sometimes it can be longer, depending on what it is that has brought that moment to existence for me. But after that 24-hour period, if I'm like just having a day where I'm complaining and all these things, I hear myself. Can you hear yourself when you're being negative and when you aren't being, very pleasant to be around? Can you hear yourself? So I give myself time. Like I'm like, I just can't pull it together today. And because I can't pull it together today, I'm just gonna let this day flow. I'm gonna let this day just rock out, right? And I'm going to try to give myself the things that I know are going to help me to bounce back. But I know that I need a day. I need a day to reset. I need to be able to reset. So when I notice it, I give myself 24 hours. And I'm like, tomorrow I can't come back in like this. Tomorrow I have to reset, right? Because tomorrow's a whole new day. And so I can't keep carrying the same kind of negative energy around with me just because I feel like complaining forever. Like I can't, that's personally me. I can't do that. And so when I feel it, I acknowledge it, give myself time, and then I move through it, right? Give myself time and then I move through it. Now there's some things that I need to move through faster because there are moments where the enemy is allowing, is helping me to stay in my own thoughts about something that's not even true, right? So part of us being able to have people in our circle is them being able to help us acknowledge the lies faster, right? What's not true? What are you allowing yourself to tell yourself, or allowing yourself to think about that you know isn't true, right? It's not true for you. It's not true about you. It's not true for what God has called you to do. And sometimes because we see with our natural eyes, we allow those thoughts to sit there longer than they need to. And then we start to allow them to just ruminate in our minds. And when they ruminate in our minds, and we start going off on a tangent where we're believing things, or starting to believe something that's not true, right? So having a strong support system around you, having a strong circle around you, those people can acknowledge that lie and be like, oh, wait a minute. Now, that's not true. That's not true about you, right? That's not true about what God said is yours. That's not true about what the promise that he gave you. It's not true about the dream. Like, what are you dealing with right now that's causing you to think or believe that? And how do we need to move forward, right? Those are the type of people you need in your circle. People who are able to see you, acknowledge that, like, okay, I see you're having a day. Yes. Do you need some time? What do you need in this day, right? But at the same time, how do we need to move through this, right? So you need people who are able to help you to get out of the space, right? Again, I'll say it again today. I was listening to a sermon by Mike Todd. Now, at this point, it's probably been a couple of weeks ago, but he was talking about your friend group, the people that are in your circle. And he said that, we do fall, right? But how far we fall is contingent and dependent on your circle. Your circle. So when moments like that are happening and you're having a moment, like, how far you go into that moment can also be contingent on your circle. Do you see where we're going with this? You see why this is important, right? If you're surrounding yourself with people who are constantly complaining, constantly like talking about people, constantly doing things that is going to cause them to be negative, you're eating that. Like, that's the type of food that you're feeding yourself, right? And because you're feeding yourself those types of things, that's what you're spitting out. You don't even recognize it, right? Because you are unconsciously digesting food that is not good for you. That's what happens when we're in communities that like aren't feeding us things that are going to help us to grow, help us to be better people, help us to be better ambassadors, right? Help us to be better leaders, right? The things that God has called us to be. If our people around us aren't helping us to get there, then it doesn't mean that we cut off all ties. Not always. Sometimes you might need to, right? That's a story for another day. But like, it doesn't mean that we cut off all ties, but it does mean that sometimes we might have to say, in this season, I can't walk with you. In this season, I can love you, but I'm going to have to put a little healthy distance in between you and me so that I can be the person who builds the dream. I can be the person who does the thing. I can be all that God has called and created me to be, right? When we're around people who fuel the fire of our belief, who fuel the fire of us doing the things, who fuel the fire of us becoming the people who God has called us to be, it's like catching a contagious dose of optimism and motivation, right? And those are the type of people I want to be around. I want to be around people who like light a flame in me, who stir me up to do the things, who make me say, all right, listen, I got this. I'm that girl. I am that girl, right? And because I'm that girl, I'm going to do the things today. And I'm going to do them well, right? So, who is in your inner circle? Who is in your inner circle? That is something that you constantly need to be evaluating, right? So let's try something together. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Just for a moment. Take a deep breath in. And I want you to start thinking about the people you spend the most time. Are they supportive? Are they positive people? Do they fuel your belief? Or do they bring negativity into you? Are they constantly complaining? Are they not helping you to become the people or the person that God has called you to? Now, I want you to visualize something. Imagine yourself surrounded by a circle of positivity. Picture how it lifts your spirit and how it makes you feel unstuck. Breathe. When you're ready, open your eyes and come back into the space. What did you see? How did it make you feel? Who was in your circle? Take some time. Go get your dream journal. Write down what you got from that moment. What did you do? What came up for you? Write it down in your dream journal. That's what that's for, right? So I'm going to give you a few moments to just write about what it is that came up for you in that. Next up, we have learning from the success stories of others. Learning from the success stories of others. So every dreamer can benefit from seeking inspiration from the success stories of those who have already achieved their dreams, right? Or already achieved a big dream, right? So, because I don't know if we ever really stop dreaming, if we ever really stop having things that God is giving us to do. It just, there are different seasons and there are different things. So, who have already achieved a big dream that you can see, that you would, right? Their journeys are filled with so many lessons, so many insights, and proof that success is possible. And by studying their experiences, you can gain powerful tool and positive insight for how to maintain a positive mindset. So, I love a journey story. I'm a fan. I like to know where people started and how they got to the place that they got to. And generally, like what really gets me excited, what really makes me passionate about the story is the adversity that they had to encounter, the mountains that they had to climb, the battles that they had to fight to be able to build the thing that they built, right? That part is inspiring for me. Like, I don't really care about the stories that about people who are like, oh, I woke up and I was successful, or I woke up and I built something and it was great. And no, because that's not my life. And I'm sure that's not yours. There were things, right? There were a lot of things on this journey that were difficult and have been challenging and have sometimes been scary and didn't always feel good, and sometimes made you feel like, am I losing it? Right? So like, I want to know about those stories. I want to know about the stories where people had to go through something serious to be able to do the things, right? And they push past every obstacle. They move through all the things, all the people who said that they couldn't, right? They moved through all the naysayers. They moved through all the closed doors. Like, they just became the people who built the dream despite whatever they saw, despite the wind, despite the rain, they did the thing, right? I love those stories. Those stories get me hyped. Those stories get me excited. I feel fueled up today. I don't know if you can tell, but I don't know. I woke up this way. I woke up a little bit like, with a little fire under my feet this morning. I woke up feeling like, a warrior this morning. I woke up ready for a battle. So, like, I don't know if this is coming off for you as a little bit more aggressive than I normally do, but I feel a little aggressive today. I really do. I feel a little. And let's take a pause. Let's get into that just for a moment. We'll come back to it. But then the reason I woke up a little bit fired up this morning is because I am sick and tired. I am sick and tired of the enemy, right? I'm tired of his games. I'm tired of his lies. I'm tired of the things that he says I can't have, or the things that he tells me about myself, or tells others that are around me about themselves. I'm tired of how he's showing up on people's doorsteps and making them feel like they can't be the people who built the dream, right? And I'm here to slay some dragons today. I'm here to call it out, right? And to stomp on the enemy's head today. I really feel that. I feel very passionate about that. I feel listen, you caught me on the right day today. That's how I feel today. So next week, I'll probably be a little bit more cool, collected, relaxed. Today, a little bit fired up. So you're going to get a little bit more hand movements today. You're going to probably get a little bit more spice that you probably won't get next week. You probably didn't get last week. But today I'm feeling a little come for me, so I can show you. This is not for the people, right? That's not how I feel about the people. This is how I feel about the enemy. Very specific target today, right? Today I'm coming at him like a sharpshooter. Come for me, or anything that's around me. Come for me, or anything that has an attachment to me. And I'm going to show you. That's how I feel today. I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to relax. I'm going to calm down. Will sign with me. So, here's what I want you to do about the people and the journey stories, because that's where we're supposed to be, right? Welcome to the Dear Dreamer podcast, where we go all over the place sometimes and come back, and like, it works. right? But today is just where we're at, and this is just what's going to be. Figure you like a little bit of vulnerability and a little bit of realness, so this is real. This is what is actually happening in this moment. And I want to be able to be real. If I'm going to be on camera, if we're going to have dialogue, if I'm going to be doing these things, then I want to have a real and genuine space where I can be me and you can be you. And we can talk about the things as they are. Right? So, going the journey stories. So here's an action item for you. Choose a successful individual that you admire or you relate to, right? Who is that person for you? Who comes up for you when I ask you that question? And here's what I want you to do this week. I want you to read a book about their life or watch their interviews or listen to their podcast. And I want you to pay attention to the challenges that they face and what strategies they use to overcome the challenges. What did they do to battle the doubt? How did they move past the naysayers? How did they move past all those things? What lessons can you extract from their journey that are going to help you on your path to success? What lessons can you extract from their journey that will help you in building the dream? Right? Write that in your dream journal. Write that down. Don't just take in the things, right? We can be consumers of so much information. This is an information age. If you want it, you can get it, right? But in this season, be the people that actually do the things that help them to move from point A to point B. So don't just hear me say these things. That's why I'm asking you to do specific things, because I want you to be able to actually move the things that are keeping you from being the people who build the dream, right? So write this down, like do the activities and, allow them to help you to move forward. Okay. So lastly, I told you I wish I could like douse this fire a little bit because I feel like I'm very here and I'm trying to be here, but I'm here. So, rock with me. Rock with me. Like, I promise you every week is not going to be like this. But today is. So, here's the last thing. Right? And it's a important and crucial step on our journey. It's cultivating belief in positivity. And so while external support is invaluable, the belief that we have in ourselves and the positive self-image that we are able to keep about ourselves are equally important. Okay? You are your biggest cheerleader. You talk to yourself the most. You do. You talk to yourself the most. You live with you. You live in your brain. You live in your body. You talk out of your mouth and you talk to yourself in silent thoughts that you have, right? You are your biggest cheerleader. And so it's vital to acknowledge your strengths and your past accomplishments and the progress that you've made so far. Last week, we talked about celebrating your wins. Celebrate even the smallest victories along the way and use them as fuel to move you forward, right? Use them as fuel to light the fire under your feet so that you can do the things, right? Celebrate your wins. So here's a reflection question for you to write down in your dreamer journal, right? What are 3 qualities that you possess that make you uniquely qualified to pursue your dreams? What are 3 qualities that you possess that make you uniquely qualified to pursue your dreams? And how can you remind yourself of these strengths on a daily basis to maintain your positive look? How can you remind yourself of these things, these strengths on a daily basis to help you to maintain your positive outlook? So last week I gave you a meditation in the description area. I'm learning the description area underneath the video. And this week, to help you out, I put a link in the description area to help you to remind yourself that you are equipped to build the dream. I want to help you to speak positively to yourself, right? And so I've created for you. And so it is for your use. It's for your access. Go and get the things, get the tools. Okay. Awesome. I have a secret. I'm so excited to share. Are you ready? Okay. On November 8th, we're going to begin a weekly virtual gathering where we will be able to deep dive into these podcast topics together, right? So I know that there are things that we talk about in the podcast that you might want to actually talk about, right? Or get more insight on or learn some deeper strategies for, or maybe even get coaching on from time to time, right? I will be able to give you some tools and space, some information and some resources that are going to help you not just hear what we are discussing in the podcast, but to put the things that we're talking about into action, to actually carry them out. And so while I love talking to you all, right, I would love even more for you to build whatever it is that God is calling you to build. Whatever God has put on your heart for you to do, whatever dream God has given you, I want you to build it. I want you to carry it out. I want you to be the dreamer who builds the dream and not just let it live rent free in your mind and you never put any action behind it. It's time out for being people who sit on the sideline and watch other people build their dreams, or helping other people build their dreams while not building theirs simultaneously. It's time out for that, right? So it's my mission to do everything that I can to help you to carry out your mission, your dream, the thing that God has given you to do, because that is my mandate and my assignment is to help you to be the person who builds the dream, right? So as dreamers, you get to go on this beautiful journey towards building your dreams, to being people who build the dream, to doing the things that God has called you, created you to do, to having the abundant life that God has promised you. But remember that it's not always a straight path. And setbacks are inevitable, and they are a part of our adventure, right? In these moments, maintaining a positive mindset can be our secret weapon. So, this week, surround yourself with positivity. Learn from people who have succeeded before you. Cultivate unshakable belief and positivity within yourself. Okay? And by doing this, not only do you overcome the challenges, but you get to keep moving forward and closer to the realization of your dreams. Your dreams are so worth the effort. Your dreams are so worth you showing them. They're so worth you putting the time and the effort in. They're so worth you being the person who is able and capable of building the dream. God has already put that capacity in you. He's already given you everything that you need at this moment to do what He's called you to do in the first steps, right? You just have to walk it out. You just have to do the things. You just have to move forward. So, having a positive mindset can be a huge key to helping you to do the thing. Keeping this in check can be a huge huge tool in helping you to be the person who builds the dream. And that's what we're called to do, is to be the people who carry out whatever it is that God has wanted us to do. If we're not living the purpose that God has called us to live, then what are we really doing with our time? I think I'm going to leave you with it. So thank you once again. I love that you shared this time with me. I'm so honored that you would sit with me for a few moments to listen to some things that I might be able to share with you, some insight I might be able to give you, and just to laugh with me and sit with me for a little while. That it means the world to me. I love that. And I'm so glad that you tuned. So thank you once again for joining me for another episode of the Dear Dreamer Podcast. I'm Candace Kamille, and remember, your dreams are worth the build. You are worth being the builder of the dream. Stay positive. Keep dreaming big. Go forth and come. May your day be filled with love, joy, and peace. I'll see you next week.